progress on our walking simulator build. So how this is going to work, it's basically like Righteous Fire. So we just activate our damage, and then we don't have to be in Blood Mist. Oh, there's a damage reduction guy. Okay, those guys are always annoying, so we're gonna have to eliminate him first, and then we're gonna actually be able to do damage. So how this build is supposed to work is it's basically a walking simulator. That's the goal. It's the end goal. This is on Will Tier 4. Now against the elites, you will have to kind of cast some stuff on them. As of right now, I'm missing a lot of Paragon points. We're missing over 70 Paragon points. But once that is in here, I feel like this build will be able to comfortably do endgame content. Now, is this going to be the biggest push build? Probably not. And the reason why is it's meant to be like an automatic build, as in like you just kind of walk. There are a couple things that I wanted to change in here. So for starters, our damage comes from Soul Rift, which is this skill. It actually does like okay damage now that I've gotten some like masterworking stuff. And this build has a long way to go in terms of trying to min-max. Ideally, we run the brand new chest piece that can cloak us if we don't like attack. Every, I don't know, few seconds it'll like re-stealth you. And our goal is to activate our ultimate, then don't attack anymore. And then we just activate it again. However, right now on PTR, to get all your stuff to be perfect is going to be something that will take a long time since there's not really the availability for trade. So I want to drop Tyraels for the new chest armor. I think that can make the build do way more damage. Which will be very, very nice to have. But the build is not bad. Like, it actually has pretty good performance. Like, I was actually pretty impressed with it so far. And like I said, I think we got a while to go before we're done. But we added some Runewords, specifically the Bach Vex. So that gives us +3 to skills, which we can keep up since our goal is to just try to move as much as possible. But there are a few other things that we can do with this build. Right now, our key passive doesn't really even do anything. There's like a lot of things that we can actually min-max. Probably optimize a little bit more. Like there is that Shadow key passive that could work for the build, but like it has to activate too many times to get its value. You can see the build is like really good. I mean, any build that can do, especially with Necromancer, in like 2 to 3 minutes to get to the boss, I think that'd be respectable. Now we're gonna check out what it does on the boss, because I'm kind of curious to see the performance on the boss, because it runs Creeping Death. Creeping Death usually not so good against bosses unless you're playing like the Rogue. Because the thing that's very annoying is that you're gonna have to obviously crowd control the boss to get the bonuses. So you can see, I mean, it's for a couple million. Keep in mind, everything has been changed in Season 6. But this is World Tier 4. But we just have to keep him inside the circle. Our little death bubble. It's a really cool idea for a build. And like I said, I'm more impressed that it actually does function. Because it sounded super cool to play this brand new ultimate skill, and then like the chance for it to deal double damage is actually, you know, really awesome. I mean, I didn't expect it to just like walk through and one-shot all the bosses. But at least it's able to do the end game content, like World Tier 4, and it's doing a 65. 65 is like the bare minimum at where you'd be able to do World Tier 4 content like good. Because it has enough speed for it to work. But like I said, we're missing 70 Paragon points, so this might be like an end game only build. But I'm just very happy that it works. And if we do like right now, like even the Helltide to do open world content, your build needs to be actually pretty good. You can't just walk in and just go straight to World Tier 4. But missing the extra 70 Paragon points is pretty big, and getting the correct masterworking, like we would ideally get more cooldown reduction here. On Flicker Step, we can get triple on ultimate damage. That would actually significantly increase damage. And then also having this aura of Decrepifying Iron Maiden is kind of nice in terms of automation, because the original idea, like we actually dropped a video on it, I was running minions to actually apply the curses with the Blood Moon Breaches, which I didn't like. We actually have one more Paragon point. But right now, oh gosh, this guy's just... Okay, so now that he's stopped screaming, so right now we're running Affliction. It is brand new. So how it works is our curse skills actually deal flat damage when you apply them to afflicted enemies. It's a really low amount. I mean, it doesn't sound bad because it's like 39,000. Keep in mind, this will not just deal 39,000, it's way more than that. But you could also run Shadow Blight, but none of these key passives are actually really that good for this build, unfortunately. Like, we can run this because we do technically shadow damage, and then every 8th one, it's going to deal even more damage. But I'm just going to do a little bit of Helltide so you guys can see the performance on this build, as my goal for it is to at least be able to farm the open world content. And again, open world content is much more difficult now. You used to be able to take any build and you would one-shot everything, but now you actually need to kind of do some sort of damage for it to be okay. And this is technically a dot build, but I mean, it's not too bad for damage. There are a few other Runewords that we can definitely try out, but the only one that I really liked so far is getting plus ranks because it reduces the cooldown of the skill. I mean, and the performance, like I said, is pretty nice. You don't really need to cast your curses, it's just kind of cool to watch them. But what you can do, if you really wanted to increase DPS, you would definitely actually run the curse, is what you would do on the boss. And I didn't do it on that boss, I probably should have done it halfway through. The boss fight wasn't really that bad, but if I was to actually cast a curse, we can actually do way more damage. You can see it's going to actually do good damage. But I wanted to get to the build to the point where I can just activate this and I walk. Now, on World Tier 3, I can do that. Or, I should say, Torment 3, we can do it. And keep in mind, Torment 1 is all you need to do to get all of the gear in the game. Now, obviously, we're going to try to get it up to Torment 4, but our goal is to literally just walk and kill everything. Now, there's a couple things that I wanted to make the build a little bit smoother, so I'm open to some suggestions. So, for starters, I don't like manually casting Corpse Explosion, and the reason why I'm using Corpse Explosion in the first place is for a bonus on the Paragon board that almost every build will take. It's called Flesh Eater, so it gives you more damage when you consume 5 corpses, and it's just a way so we can get extra damage. It's really hard for a lot of Necromancer builds to not run that because it's just a big source of damage. There's also some damage with Blight. We can get an extra 20 X damage. And the reason why I took it is because you have to get points into the tree to progress anyways, and you don't really use a core skill in this build. All your damage comes from Soul Rift, so I just wanted to walk and look. I mean, it's pretty decent right now. But again, if you then use Corpse Explosion to consume the corpses, now you're gonna actually have like good enough damage to walk through the content. But the whole goal is to make it so it's a walking simulator build only. Also, if the cooldown isn't good enough, we have Flicker Steps right now. I'm not even really using it though. Like, as in I'm not trying to jump through. It doesn't always work properly with the skill. I don't know why. It's maybe because sometimes the targets are dying too fast. And you can actually get millions of damage. I think the highest tick I was seeing was like 8 mil. And remember, it ticks every half second. So you can, in theory, get like 16 mil DPS. Which, yeah, it might not be the highest DPS in the game. That's right now, I think that the Victimized Rogue is like way higher up there. But there's also another thing that I was thinking about messing around with. And I'll go ahead and go over that. Actually, I should just pull up this website because it's going to be way better. So there is another one where you get like really big damage. It's like you get like 100. So this one, one of these has like 100 damage. Over here, which is called Quacks. Your next non-basic skill you cast spends all of your primary resource and does 100 up to 100 increased damage. So we could do this. We would have to build it up, and then we'd be able to use it. And I honestly feel like getting just the int is just better in a lot of circumstances versus getting these rune words, because I mean 150 int over here, or 150 times 2, because you get 300, and I believe it's like 7 or 8 intelligence equals 1% damage. So if you start scaling int and then you get like percent int, you can actually get a lot of intelligence. I mean, we're almost at like 4,000 here, and I haven't even like fully min-maxed as far as int goes, and that's plus 900% damage. So losing out on 300% damage there versus getting 100, which I'm assuming that one is multiplicative, but I'm not positive. But if that does work, we could increase the damage. I'm going to do some more testing, but that's the progress we have made. I'm so glad we have just removed minions out of the build so we can get even more damage with the whole soul rift thing. And now we almost have 100% chance for it to deal double damage without getting triple masterworking on it. But it did technically roll perfect roll. We got 2 masterworks on it. So hopefully this will be a viable build at the end once we like complete it. I know everything's technically masterwork, but it's not like perfect masterworked. And on top of that, we're missing the Paragon. So once we get the Paragon up, I think this could be viable for open world content, and not the highest pit pushing, but hopefully enough to get your stuff going. But that's the progress we've made on the walking simulator, Righteous Fire, Darkness. I'm gonna call it like the Darkness Righteous Fire, because that's basically what it is. It's a skill like in Path of Exile, and hopefully we can get it to the point where we don't have to cast anything and we can walk. But anyways, that's our progress on Soul Rift.